Please be seated. I have a favorite internet meme that you may have seen. It is a single cartoon of a stick figure woman in bright neon colors. Her face has a wild look and her arms are outstretched as if she's headed in 5 directions at once, and the headline screams, "All the things! I want to do all the things." Which things? All the things now. This might be the best description of my default mode of being, which some of you have discovered. Unfortunately, it's not actually a very productive or helpful way of conducting life. And if I'm not careful, I can let distractions keep me from my true purpose. I believe that we are each called to a God-given purpose. We name that purpose different things: a call, a vocation, a mission, a passion. But we all have a purpose and focus in life. And God grants us each gifts to fulfill our given purpose. And this applies to both individuals and organizations like churches. Our congregation has a particular call to serve God's kingdom that is defined by our gifts. We define this in our mission and our vision. However, we can get sidetracked from our purpose. The world is a pretty distracting place. Sometimes those distractions are well-intended purposes. For example, we might be so aware of the needs of the world that we struggle to focus on our particular vocation, or we worry that if we don't take something on, no one else will. Apparently, even Jesus is tempted to try to do all the things all at once. Once Jesus begins his ministry, Mark describes a series of events that rapidly escalate from preaching, recruiting followers, teaching in the synagogue, casting out demons, healing one woman, to facing crowds gathered around begging for his healing. And all of that happens in about 15 lines of scripture. As Jesus collects disciples, he is presented with opportunities to heal and cast out demons, so he does. After casting out a demon in the synagogue and healing Simon's mother-in-law, his new followers get excited about the prospects of their new teacher. Mark tells us that evening at sunset, they brought to him all who were sick or possessed by demons. The new disciples went out to find people and spread the news of this new healer. The disciples seek out more and more people for Jesus to heal, and soon he finds himself very busy doing this work as the whole town gathers around him. But the next morning, early, Jesus breaks away from the crowds to seek solitude and prayer. Simon and his companions must hunt for him, and when they do find Jesus, they try to drag him back to the crowds, back to everyone who wants to find him. However, in his time of prayer, Jesus has found some clarity in his mission and vision. He knows his goal. And though he can heal people, he has quickly realized that this will sidetrack him from his primary mission, to preach the good news of God. Jesus reminds us that we can't really be all things to all people all the time right now. Even for Jesus, there are limits to his ability to serve everyone all at once. While he has many gifts, if he allows himself to be distracted, he can't fulfill the mission he was called to live out. So on the one side, I'm relieved that even Jesus can get distracted. But sometimes it feels like we mere mortals have a special talent for getting distracted. And it's not always because we're off doing something useless. Our distractions can be very worthy or necessary. God knows there's always another load of laundry to be done. And in classic fashion, when I wrote this line, I actually had to get up and go change the laundry loads because I got distracted. When I worked in technology, I eventually found myself planning an annual strategy for my department. My initial presentation to the CIO left him shaking his head. 3 goals, Mercedes. You get just 3 goals to focus on. But we could do so much more, I argued. And you can only accomplish a few things well. Well, so much for all the things. But even with a laser-like focus on our goals, we will have to navigate distractions in our life. I mean, life is life. It comes with good times and bad. And it's not that different from Jesus' time. Sometimes Jesus was performing healing, and we often find ourselves negotiating the realities of sick kids, sick family members, or even our own health issues. And don't get me started about those modern-day demons, politics, the internet, social media, materialism, and all the other temptations that will take us down a side road. Thankfully, Jesus also models how we might respond to the overwhelm that can settle on us when it's all thrown our way. Jesus makes a point to step away from the chaos, to find solitude, and to reconnect with God in prayer. Through his time alone with God, Jesus filters out the distractions and refocuses on his primary mission. Despite the pulls and the attraction, Jesus tells the disciples, "Let us go on to the neighboring towns, so that I may also proclaim the message there, for that is what I came to do." And we are also invited to regular prayer. And when we set aside time to listen to God, we will find the benefits of setting aside quiet time to discern our own direction in life. Regular prayer can help us stay focused on our vocation and help us distinguish between the distractions and the true goals. Despite the desire to do all the things, we can only accomplish a few things well. Though there may be disappointment or sadness in making choices, we will ultimately find a kind of peace that descends when we surrender to our God-given purpose. Decisions become easier. The puzzle pieces begin to fall into place. We start to see the big picture as we move towards a particular goal. So I hope you know that God doesn't expect us to all do all the things. Though sometimes life will throw a lot at us, we are invited to find time with God each day to reconnect to our purpose and gifts. And when we embrace and focus on our God-given purpose, we will find that our very lives will proclaim the good news of God in the world every day.